Why is everybody talking about the 5 phases when it comes to GTD? Am I the only one who gets really confused by this? There aren't actually 5 consecutive phases. This took me months to understand. So in this video, I'll show you why there are no 5 phases and what David Allen's 5 phases actually mean. But also, I'll show you 7 more impactful insights into GTD that nobody tells you about, which for me changed GTD from something I understood to something I could actually live. But first things first, about the 5 phases. When I first read about the 5 phases, I assumed they were a sequence. Step 1, capture. Step 2, clarify. Step 3, organize. Review, engage, done. But after a few days, it was obvious. That wasn't how it works. Then I thought, maybe it's a cycle you repeat, once a day, once a week, but the book never says. And eventually I realized it's not a sequence or a cycle. The whole idea of the 5 phases is misleading. There are no 5 phases, but they are rather activities or streams, individual things to do at certain times. But if they're not phases, how do you actually use them day to day? Here's my take. Of course, I'd need to start off with a huge capture brain dump and then clarify and organize once in the beginning too. But then all phases will have to be performed at the same time at different occasions. The easiest one to grasp seems to be engage. This one would happen whenever I'd want to get things done. So during weekdays, of course, and at other times too. The next one is interesting. Capture would happen all the time, all day long, every waking hour. So if you want, capture isn't a phase at all, it's constant. And since the inboxes constantly get filled, there also need to be many clarify phases. I put them in the mornings and evenings of every weekday. Then there's reflect and organize. Reflect is easy. Even David Allen says that this should happen once a week. I put it on Friday afternoon. And organize? Well, usually there's at least a mini organization session happening during my weekly review. So let's put that there. But also organize, which is basically to improve and develop your system, can happen at any point when you need it. So there you have it. The 5 phases are no consecutive phases. They're just different activities at specific times. Wow, it feels good to finally having this worked out. One last thing. Obviously, this is how it works for me. How do you balance capture, clarify, and organize? Drop it in the comments. I want to see how different people make GTD fit their lives. Okay, let's get to the next thing nobody tells you about GTD. This one is a little like brushing your teeth, and therefore quite logical. You're never done brushing your teeth. You constantly brush so your mouth stays healthy. Same with GTD. You capture, clarify, organize, reflect, and engage so your brain stays clear. I keep 2 tiny habits to make that real. A short cleanup most evenings, like brushing my teeth, and the weekly review, like visiting the dentist. Those 2 keep the plaque off my system. The next point is about a word that I quite like. Trust. Because this is the secret that makes the whole thing feel calm. Think of your GTD system like a school locker with your name on it. Trust means 2 simple things. You know how to put something in fast, and you know when you'll open that locker again. If those 2 are true, your hands and your head can be empty. You don't need a perfect shiny locker. You need a locker you use. That's why perfectly up to date is a myth. Go for good enough to trust. If it's about 80% current and you really do check it on schedule, your mind will relax. Leading us to the next point. Your everyday life usual chaos is a little like the smoke alarm in your kitchen. It's really loud and annoying and it really needs taking care of. But when the smoke alarm goes off, you don't rebuild and clean your kitchen. You first silence the alarm so you can think straight again. That's what capture is for. The second a thought shows up, drop it into an inbox you trust. Alarm off, brain calm. Only later, still soonish of course, you decide what to do with it and where it belongs. Capture now for relief, clarify later for progress. That's how you stop the alarms from running your day. Similar but different, thoughts will always pop into your head during the day. Loose reminders, worries, ideas, and they buzz around until they pull you out of the moment. That's why I think of capture like Dumbledore's pensieve.
Knowing what lies ahead.
He doesn't carry every thought in his head, he pulls them out and stores them so he can stay fully present with what's in front of him. Capture works the same way. The second a thought shows up, drop it into an inbox you trust. You haven't done the task yet, but the nagging stops because your brain knows it's safe. Now that's what relief feels like. A lot of us grow up believing the answer is simple. Just work harder, do more. Hustle culture runs on that message. Stack more tasks, sleep less, outwork everyone. But GTD isn't about doing more. It's about seeing clearly so that you can choose better. Think of it like this. Hustle culture is a bare light bulb. It gives off a lot of light, but it scatters everywhere. GTD is a laser. Same light, but focused. With fewer rays, it's sharp enough to cut through steel. That's what happens when your head is clear. You stop fake working. You pick the few moves that actually matter. A simple filter helps. Ask what one outcome would make today feel complete enough. Then choose the next action that moves you toward that outcome. Less scatter, more impact. GTD doesn't tell you what's important, it just gives you the closet. The system lays out all your options, but you're the one who chooses what to wear based on the day. That choice depends on context, time, energy, and priority. A heavy winter coat on a hot day? Wrong choice. A tux for a grocery run? Also wrong. The closet doesn't decide. You do. That's why I keep one light habit to guide me. Each morning after I clarified my inboxes, I make a tiny today list. Just a handful of tasks that would make today a good day. That's the outfit I lay out. The system gives me the possibility possibilities, my choices make it real. Most people treat their someday maybe list like a graveyard, a place where ideas go to die. But it's not a graveyard, it's a wine cellar. You don't drink every bottle the day you buy it. You store them. You let them age. And when the right moment comes, a celebration, a dinner, the right company, you bring out the perfect bottle. Someday maybe works the same way. It's where ideas sit without guilt until the timing is right. A project that doesn't fit today might be exactly what you need 6 months from now. So don't fear leaving things there. That's not failure, that's incubation. So that's what nobody tells you about GTD. But here's the catch. Even when you know all this, there are still beginner mistakes that can wreck your system before it even takes off. And almost everyone, me included, makes them. If you want to avoid those traps, watch this video next. Because fixing just one of those mistakes can save you weeks of frustration.